Hi guys, how are you?
Very well, thank you. It's a rainy day down in paradise.
Is it? Wow,
Yeah.
well, it was snowing a little bit here, but I'm sure you guys will get way more than us, so ours will be gone soon. But I'm so excited to talk to you guys, just about your whole experience of moving out there and what it's been like and stuff like that. So I think a lot of people, well, I'll just introduce myself. So my name's Sandy Casella, and we obviously help people buy and sell the place that they call home. And this is Karen and Tim Thompson, and they've recently moved from Ontario to Paradise, Nova Scotia. So I don't know how you can not love to live in a place called Paradise, of course. That's awesome. So, I just want to chat a bit about like just your whole experience with doing this, and the pitfalls or the things you would have done different, things like that. We'll kind of discuss, and then we'll just go from there. So, how do you? I guess the first question would be, how do you like it out there? I guess would be our first question.
Go ahead.
We're loving it. It's nice and quiet, and I keep there. It's really lovely, quiet. Tiny little town, and we're enjoying the peace and quiet and the backyard and
the pace of life.
And
yeah,
yes, for sure.
Yeah,
significantly changed from the GTA.
Yeah, I'm sure it is quite a big difference. Like even traffic wise and stuff like that must be a huge difference.
We're still not 100% familiar with the area, so we often use Google Maps, and the big joke is that every time we put in a new address, Google will tell us that traffic is light as usual. Every time.
That's amazing. So, and I've been following all your stuff on Facebook, which has been super exciting. So you've done a bit of I guess traveling around out there and just kind of seeing some new things. So tell me a little bit about some of the places that you've seen out there.
Well, we bought a travel trailer in anticipation of retirement, and we were planning on more than the Atlantic bubble, but because of that, because of the COVID, we've been confined to the Atlantic bubble. And Karen, we've been to.
We went to PEI, which was really nice.
Yeah.
We went to Five Islands, which is over by Parsborough. Which was a part of the province I had never been to, and it was really interesting because when the tide goes out, you can walk right out onto the floor of the Bay of Fundy and right out over to the other islands. You have to do it quick before the tide comes back in.
Yeah.
But it's really, really interesting, and we've gone over to the North Shore and looked at all the little
coves and inlets.
Yeah, Harborville and Margaret's Bay and all the Port George, and loved going to each one. And I think I have to start bringing rocks back to the shoreline now, because every time I go, it's, oh, this is a pretty one, and I bring another one home. So I got to start taking them back.
Yeah. Oh, that's hysterical. So where you went? So was that the Bay? That's actually the Bay of Fundy that you're talking about. Okay. Yeah, I've been to the Bay of Fundy. It's really cool there. It's really neat there, right? Yeah. Yeah, I like that. So you guys are like kind of, are you allowed to go into any, how does that bubble work out there? Is it all the Atlantic provinces? So can you go from any, like Nova Scotia, you went to PEI, obviously, can you go to New Brunswick? Like, can you go to any Atlantic province? Just other people can't go, other people from outside of the Atlantic provinces can't go there.
Yeah, with New Brunswick in particular, we had to pre-register, basically just say we don't have symptoms, that kind of thing. And we get a barcode, and they scanned it at the border. But otherwise, travel is free between the provinces. There's no real restrictions.
Yeah. So now you guys moved before COVID, but
yes,
I'm not sure if you know, like a lot of people are now considering doing what you've done because, well, not only within the province, like people moving within, like from the GTA, moving out of the GTA into the kind of outskirts of the GTA,
right.
But moving to other provinces because so many people now can work from home, and they don't anticipate having to go back into an office for a long time. So a lot of people are taking this opportunity to say, why are we living here when we can,
Absolutely.
we can downsize, or when I guess downsize. You're not really downsizing because you get much more house for your money if you're moving to the outskirts, but that's
Downsize your
a
mortgage.
huge thing. Yeah, that's a huge thing right now. That's happening. So you guys were really ahead of that wave there. So it's super exciting. But what would you say are some of the, like, maybe what would you have done differently if you had to do it all over again, or maybe nothing?
Well, the only thing I can think of is we probably should have looked into healthcare beforehand, because there was a little confusion between what Ontario says and what the health card MSI says down here to get a health card. So we kind of got stuck with this COVID and haven't been able to get Nova Scotia health cards because the office has been closed and stuff like that. But also, I guess we're in a place where you don't have any health issues, but it is quite difficult to find a doctor down here. I'm not sure why. I guess they can't make the kind of money they can in Ontario because they just don't have the population to support it. But I mean, if somebody wants to run a happy, comfortable practice down here, this is the place to be. But there's not a lot of doctors, and it's kind of tough to get.
I think that's an issue in a lot of the rural parts of Canada, right? Where
Northern Ontario.
Yeah. So that would be, that's a huge issue. I think even in the GTA, it's tough to get another family doctor. So it's really interesting.
And I don't know the exact size of Nova Scotia, but the population is still under 1 million, but it's spread over such a large area. Whereas I don't know, is Mississauga 1 million yet? It's got to be approaching.
I think Mississauga's probably, I think they're about 750, 800, somewhere in that stratosphere.
Very close, but they're in a much smaller area. So
exactly.
The concentration of people is quite different for the doctors there versus here. But the healthcare is the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a rural area. We're probably 20 minutes to the next biggest town, which is called Greenwood. And I was very excited to go to the mall there when I first moved here, because I hadn't been away from the house for a couple weeks. And when I got to the mall, there was possibly 20 stores. So the pickings are a little slimmer here in that respect. If you like your Gucci and that kind of thing, you're not going to find that.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. But you know what? I think probably like in a year, you'll think that's a huge mall, right?
Yeah, likely, yes. Yes.
You'll be going to the mall. So how far are you from, let's say, Halifax? What would be the biggest? An hour and a half. So that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That was we wanted to be an hour and a half from the airport and the Halifax, and we're right at that edge.
Yeah. Have you been to Halifax?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I've never been to Halifax. I got to visit there.
Absolutely gorgeous there.
When I go out there next summer, I'll come and see you in Paradise. I just love that name. It's amazing. I can't even believe it. So
did I tell you the name of the golf course here?
No.
It's Eden.
Eden?
Eden.
The Garden of Eden in Paradise.
Right next to Paradise.
That's amazing. So what do you think went well? Like tell me some of what you think was on the good side of it. Like we've heard that maybe the healthcare would have thought about that a little bit more, but I think sometimes when you do these things, you can't overthink it, because if you overthink it, you probably would have come up with reasons not to do it. And
we had done a lot of planning with regards to our retirement, and we were about 3-4 years away had we stayed in Ontario. But this afforded us the opportunity to move, be down here, be mortgage free, because of the difference in equities. And that's been the biggest thing, is we now have a bit of financial freedom. And it's not just the finances, it's the freedom to do what you want when you want. That's been my biggest mantra since I've been here. If I get stuff done today, that's great. But if not, it'll wait till tomorrow.
Yeah. So the lifestyle is totally different.
100%.
Yeah.
The people down here are wonderful.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure it's like the towns where you drive down the street and if someone's up the side of the road, people will stop to let them go. Like, it's funny that that kind of stuff still goes on, right? You know,
They don't even keep, they have vegetable stands at the side of the road. There's nobody there. You just leave your money and carry on.
Yeah.
It's all on the honor system. It's wonderful.
That's amazing. What else have you found out there what have you found out there that you weren't expecting?
Well, we found, and I know there's butcher shops up there, but we found a little butcher shop down the street, and we've made that our new place. We're
really proud to support local. We're doing our best to support local. And in Brampton or Mississauga or Toronto, it's a little more difficult to do so because there's a lot of chains.
Yeah.
But down here, there's a lot of individuals that are working their tails off, and they deserve to be getting money direct.
Agree. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. So, and I see your animals are loving it out there.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Of course.
We've got the trail that we take on a daily basis to walk the dog. Used to be the railway, and they pulled up all the train tracks, but now it's a multi-use trail. So there's horses on it some days. There's ATVs going up and down. You can go almost the whole length of the Annapolis Valley on these ATVs. People riding their bikes, doing day trips, walking the dog, walking. We even were going along one day and somebody came along in a smart car.
Oh my goodness.
On
the trail. Wow, that's amazing.
But it's great, and so many people use it. And during the summer, like, it's a big thing down here is, you know, like the ecotourism kind of thing. So a lot of people want to do stuff like that. They want to, you know, load up their bike somewhere up in Kentville, New Minas area, get on their bike and do a day or two and ride down to, or
along the river as well.
Along the river and down to Annapolis Royal and camp, stay, Airbnb, bed and breakfast, whatever along the way.
Yeah. Wow, that sounds amazing. And I'm sure like right now it might be a little bit different because of COVID, and you can't, this summer you wouldn't have got the tourists that you would have normally they would have got there, but I'm sure that will, I'm pretty confident that'll change by next year. Yeah. So I'm sure it's like a huge difference in what we're experiencing here, because I don't know if you're like kind of following what's going on here, and Peel's pretty much a hot spot for COVID. Mm-hmm. So it's a bit of a challenge. So I think you're in a completely different lifestyle than what we're experiencing.
We've kind of lost track of that because the interaction is so, there's so much less interaction. I mean, if you're walking down the street, there's not going to be 30 people passing you by. So we've kind of forgotten about how you need to still be vigilant. I mean, we do the same thing that you guys do probably several times a day. You ready to walk into a store and you forget your damn mask.
Oh yeah.
It's a little easier to forget that here.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can imagine. But I guess everybody's doing the same thing there. You're all wearing masks in stores, right? What about restaurants and stuff? Are they open? Are restaurants and stuff open?
Yeah, that's one thing I do miss. We don't have as many restaurants down here. But yes, they are open. It's just limited.
Yeah. Okay. So pretty much just say, well, I guess in Peel, depending on where you are here, but Peel, they're pretty much all closed.
Yeah.
Almost a week out. So yeah, they've all been closed. Toronto. I'm not sure about Halton, but so you can't even really go sit in a restaurant anyway. You can't go sit in a Starbucks. You got to get a coffee and leave. Yeah. Some of the other places like Hamilton's open, Halton, I think Durham, they're all open, but still, if you're in Brampton, it's pretty much, the gyms are closed and everything. So,
wow.
Yeah. So let me see what else. What's the same? Is there anything basically that you think is the same from what you would have, where you were before?
Well, the first month we were here, our internet was via satellite. It was a little slower, but now we've got 5, which is pretty much the same as up there.
Yeah.
The weather, a lot of people comment about the weather. We're basically on the same line as Halliburton, Huntsville.
Okay.
But it seems to be the same in terms of, my gosh, it was a hot summer here. There wasn't much rain.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very snow-filled winter either. I only had the snowblower going about 4 times. So the weather's been similar.
Yeah.
We usually know what's coming. It hits through Ontario, Quebec, and then works its way down here. So, that really has, a lot of people are like, oh, the weather's going to be really bad. But we get our things, like if a hurricane season and stuff like that. This year's been great. A couple of years ago was bad.
Yeah.
When we bought the property last year, there was a storm just before we took the house over and a tree came down. We haven't had anything like that since we've moved in. So, it seems different when you're sitting in Ontario talking about the weather in Nova Scotia, but then we sitting down here, we're thinking the same thing up there. So
yeah. And I think it really depends where you are out there, right? Like some places are, like I've been to Newfoundland where
for sure.
You can get all 4 seasons in a matter of hours, right? Like 1 minute it's bright and sunny, and a minute later it's like you're in a blizzard, for crying out loud. And then I think it really depends in Nova Scotia, right? I know.
Yeah.
Even New Brunswick, I know when my son went to school there, it was like very cold. He said some days it was so cold that you walk outside and it feels like someone punched you in the gut. Yeah. It's that cold, but I mean, we get that everywhere. So yeah. Is it as humid or?
Oh yeah.
Or more. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Because we're in the valley.
Okay.
So the humidity just kind of comes and sits in here, but it's still pretty nice, and it's not far to get to the ocean in either direction. So
yeah. Oh, that's nice. So you've done that though? Like you've gone?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Done all that stuff. Is that where you get all the rocks, where you take all the rocks from?
The North Shore is rockier. The South Shore has beautiful, beautiful beaches. The gorgeous white sand, or variations on a theme, but all kinds of beautiful beaches.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. I have a funny story about rocks. So I was in Ireland earlier this year, pre-COVID, with my daughter. And we were on this beach, and we were collecting all these rocks, just like you're saying, right? Oh, this is pretty. This is pretty. And we had our bag, like all these rocks in it. And then we see this sign. It was something about, I guess it's like an old folk tale about taking the rocks. If you take the rocks, the spirits will come after you, right? So there we are. Get them out. We put all the rocks back. It was actually quite funny. It freaked us right out. So we left the rocks there. So I guess it's one way of keeping them.
Yeah, for sure.
That's funny. So, anything else that you wanna, I guess, just tell us about this experience? Like, would you do it all over again? Are you happy that you did it? What's your, I know there's a lot of people who are considering doing this. I know a few people that have already done it, and more are considering doing it because of COVID, for sure. So what would you say to those people?
I would 100% do it again. Before we left, we had checked into airlines so we could bring family down or not. And Swoop Airlines has incredibly inexpensive fares. Now with the COVID, getting back and forth to visit family is a little more difficult.
Yeah.
But both of us have sat out on the back deck and watched the river and said, "Are you glad you're here?" And other than family, whom we miss, yes, we would. I mean, the financial freedom, the extra space, the quality of life, it's all been a wonderful thing for us. We've really enjoyed it and appreciated it.
That's amazing. Yeah. I remember when my son went to school out there, I hadn't been to the East Coast, I think as a child, but not as an adult. And I remember just every time we'd leave and start driving home, I'd say, why would anybody leave here?
Yeah.
Like it's just so beautiful, and like you say, the people, it's a totally different lifestyle. Like it
Yeah.
really is a totally different lifestyle, which is great. Yeah. So
we even have a gentleman, he's our fishmonger. He comes up every other Friday and he stops in the driveway and we buy
Fresh fish.
from him and haddock and fish cakes, and it's great, you know, just
wow.
to have that is something you wouldn't have at home.
Yeah,
But
that's amazing. And even shopping locally, like the local farms and stuff, right,
Yeah.
is a big difference. Like I moved just from, I don't know, you wouldn't know this because I did it recently, but I moved to Hamilton, then moved to the outskirts of Hamilton. So I'm in a little town called Linden now, which is part of Lancaster.
Mhm.
So anyway, it's like all around me is farmland. So
Yep.
that's, you know, I go there and get whatever from the farms. I get vegetables and the eggs, the fresh eggs and stuff like that. And it pains me to have to go to a grocery store. It's really hard for me to go to a grocery store. I can't buy like fruit or vegetables there anymore because to me it's like, it's so much fresher.
Yep.
The quality. And I was my son and I were just talking about this yesterday. Like I don't normally eat potatoes, but the potatoes are so good. It sounds really weird, but the potatoes from the farm, they're totally different than a potato you buy at the grocery store. Like
100%.
completely different.
100%.
So it's pretty exciting. So, but you know what? The fact of you not like the family thing, it's not much different here right now. Like you can't really, you're not really seeing like at Thanksgiving, we had to like cut down how many people we could have over and all that kind of stuff. So even there was, there was, I think a 3 or 4 month period where I didn't see my son, I didn't see my daughter-in-law, my grandson. I saw them like through a window basically.
Well,
so
we would normally go to Huntsville, about 12 to 15 of us every Thanksgiving. And this year I got a call from my sister who hosts, and she said with the COVID, not really interested in having that large group of people because of health issues and concerns. So we ended up driving back to Ontario and we visited all the different people.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, aside from all the driving, it was nice to see everybody, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And even if we had been in Ontario, as you said, some of the people, we would see them maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Now we might see them once or twice a year.
Yeah.
So
which in some cases is good.
Yes. No, 100%. That's right. Absence makes the heart.
Yeah, exactly. So, how long of a drive is it for you to drive back to Brampton or to?
We were into Huntsville in about 21 hours.
Well, that's not bad. So you would go which way? You'd go up Riviera du Loup and back down, like through Quebec.
We did an Airbnb in that general vicinity, and then up for one night, and then carried on from there.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful drive.
It was a gorgeous drive.
Yeah, it is, and you could make a whole trip out of it, right? Because you could stop in Quebec City, you can stop in Montreal, and then kind of make your way across. So it's really nice. Okay, good. Well, that's awesome. I'm super happy you guys would get on here and talk to me and about this experience because I think it's great. I'd love to maybe steal some of your pictures on Facebook and put them on my blog with this video.
Absolutely.
If you don't mind.
And Sandy, we were really grateful for your help in facilitating the move. We had considered the other less costly options for real estate and for moving, and we dismissed them both. And we're so grateful. We used a good mover, and my daughter, who just moved down to the area, used a not so good known mover, and the difference was night and day. I'm more saying that about you. You and your team were great. You were Johnny on the spot in terms of responses, and it was a couple weeks, 16 days. I didn't count the hours, but it was about 16 days, and it was done. So we're very grateful for that as well.
Well, I really do thank you and for putting your trust in us, and it was such a pleasure to work with you guys, and I'm just so happy about your experience there, and I just love seeing all your posts and stuff on Facebook and seeing what you guys are doing. It's really inspiring and amazing because I mean, so many times we just go through life just plugging away. And, you know, it's a very fast lifestyle here. And sometimes it gets to you, and it's nice to see people who will, you know, take that leap of faith, because there's a lot of people who want to do it and just really, for whatever reason, don't. But I think it's so important. I think it's so important.
Life is very short. We've had some close family members die before their time, and it kind of underscored to us that life is short and we need to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you. I totally agree. So,
Even with
is there
working, and my company, and this kind of speaks to kind of what you were talking about, the whole idea of people being able to work from wherever. My company was just getting used to the work from home idea, and I came to them and I said, well, we've decided we're moving, and they said, okay, well, let's give this a try. And then COVID hit and everybody's getting to do it. So
yeah.
They were great and saying, you know, we appreciate you as an employee, and we'll take the chance, and you go do what you have to do. And as long as, you know, we'll do what we can to support you, as long as you continue to do your job and your work, and do, you know, be a reliable employee, the same as you would be if you were sitting in the office. And so,
and she's been able to manage her work and my work. How lucky is that?
I had that to-do list.
That's awesome. So you guys were really, like, honestly, I think, like, trailblazers in doing this, and then working from home. And you're right, now it's become almost the norm, right? For people to work from home. And a lot of people that are looking for houses here, the one question is, does it have room for a home office? Because you've got people who got their kids at home going to school, doing school online, the parents working from home, and they're all kind of, you know, all over each other, and it's a little bit tough. So it really is a different landscape for sure. So you guys were real trailblazers in doing this. And I think that's awesome. I applaud you. And yeah, for sure. I mean, seriously. So yeah, I think it's great, and I'll keep following you guys there on Facebook for sure. Keep me posted. I have serious plans of getting out to Nova Scotia next year, so I'd love to come and see you for sure.
You're more than welcome.
I have to go to a place called Paradise. I just have to.
There's anybody has any questions, they can ask.
Awesome. Okay, that's amazing. Thank you guys so much for jumping on here with me. I was a little concerned because I couldn't remember there's one province that doesn't do daylight savings time, isn't there?
Saskatchewan.
Oh, is it only Saskatchewan? I thought there was an Atlantic province that didn't do it. So then I was like, okay, maybe we'll get the time wrong. But anyway, I appreciate you doing that. I know it's a little bit later there for you. You guys
not a problem.
So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon.
All right, take care.
Have a great night. Thanks. Bye.